It's a busy summer already for Manchester United, let alone we play Real Madrid and Wrexham in the space of 24 hours in two different places with two different teams. What I'm going to try and do in this video is run through my starting 11 for both games. Going to start with the Real Madrid game, which is going to be our first team. Onana's debut. Kobbie Mainoo against Jude Bellingham. Some big storylines and some exciting storylines to run through in that game. But also, what youngsters will be playing against Wrexham. Ryan Reynolds' Wrexham, the Hollywood team. I'm going to run through both. It's going to be a big video. Lots of prep. So please, if you would, drop a like on the video. What I'm going to do first is run through Ten Hag's press conference, anything he said. Ooh, there's going to be a lot to cover in this. Let's settle in. Let's go. Now, let's run through Ten Hag's press conference and what he said before the game so we can see if there's any updates. A couple of updates on injuries, players who are going to be involved, etc. Good news about Amad Diallo. It's not too bad. He's already back running. Everyone was a bit concerned when he went off in the last game against Arsenal about whether or not it would be a pre-season ending injury. No, he looks good, and that's good news. No, nothing on the Glazers, nothing on about travelling. I'll run through the Wrexham team news a little bit later. Jadon Sancho, who's been enjoying him playing as a false nine, and I think we'll probably see that against Real Madrid. He was asked about a striker. He says, look, we'll make progress when it works. The big update there, I suppose, is about Amad Diallo. There's not really too much of an update elsewhere. So what I'm going to do is just dive straight into it. What team do you think Man United will be starting against Real Madrid? One player I think we will be seeing is this man here. Onana is going to be making his Manchester United debut. Go there, and I'm happy to do that. I can't wait to see this man between the sticks. We've seen a progression, a tiny progression so far this preseason towards this Ten Hag team that he wants this year. It all really goes up a few notches when this man comes in. How rusty will he be? How rusty will the players be? This is what we need to use the preseason for. It's not about winning. It's about fitness. It's about players understanding each other. And everyone's really got to understand his style of play. So Onana, watch the height. Watch our defensive line height. See if it goes up with Onana in the team. Because I think it will a little bit. Of course, you got Martinez and Varane. I think they'll be playing. And I think will Wan-Bissaka keep his spot? Maybe this is a game where we might see Diogo Dalot. Because you can't just completely rule Diogo Dalot out. But I think you're going to be getting Varane there. And you're going to be getting Martinez there. And I think Luke Shaw's a bit of a guarantee. I don't know. Maybe this is a game where we're going to see a little bit of Diogo Dalot. Wan-Bissaka, I don't really think has been playing. I think he's actually been playing pretty damn well in this preseason tour. He's been proving me wrong constantly since I just doubted him and said that he had no chance of playing in this team. But maybe this is a game where we see Diogo Dalot. Not really from a tactical perspective, but Ten Hag needs to know if he's got options. Wan-Bissaka's been playing well. Maybe this is where we see Dalot. That's what I think anyway. Now this man. Look, Casemiro playing against his former team. There's a storyline there unto itself, but Ten Hag doesn't need to learn anything about Casemiro. He already knows he's got one of the best defensive midfielders in world football. But I think he can learn a bit more about Mainoo by playing him in this game. And that's why, for me, I think we'll see Kobbie Mainoo. Now, in the last game, it was Kobbie Mainoo against Declan Rice, and there was only one winner there. Mainoo was not overawed by the occasion, playing in front of 80,000 plus, playing against a midfield of Havertz, Odegaard, and Rice. It didn't mean a jot to him. He was fantastic, and that's why I think Ten Hag will start him in this game, and I think he'll stick with basically the same midfield shape. Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes in front of him, and they all interchange. If you watched against that Arsenal team, a game sometimes when we scored the goal, and ended up being Mainoo who was out kind of holding the position out on the right wing there. It ended up being Bruno Fernandes coming deeper. And then the ball, no, was that right? Yeah. And then the ball went over the top from Tom Heaton to Mainoo. And then sometimes it was Mason Mount who was deepest. Sometimes it was Kobbie Mainoo. Chopped and changed. But this is a game where I think we can learn even more about him. How will he cope in a midfield with the likes of maybe Tchouaméni, Bellingham, Camavinga? We're talking the world's best here. I think Ten Hag plays him alongside Bruno and Mason Mount. And I think he'll learn a bit more. I think Jadon Sancho against Arsenal, it really, really worked. So I imagine we'll see the exact same thing again in this game. Jadon Sancho is the false nine. Now, Erik Ten Hag, right? You remember Tadic at Ajax. I mentioned in my live stream this morning. He used him as a false nine when he didn't have that striker that he wanted to great effect in that season for Ajax. I don't think we're going to be using a false nine this season, but given that we have no strikers in the squad who are fit currently, that's what Ten Hag is doing and trying. He's looking at alternatives. And I think Sancho, he looks a bit sharper. He looks a bit, I don't know, just everything's happening a split second quicker in his head. So he's a little bit close to the ball. He's getting that first step away from the defender quicker. And the pace was there for the goal against Arsenal and the finish too. I think Jadon Sancho starts this game. And I think, of course, Marcus Rashford starts out on that left wing. Now, I think there's probably, well, it's kind of the same thing, right, that happened in last season. People really criticised Antony for his final product. And I did defend him. I think for the first season that he had, I think the 8-goal return was okay. I think there was a lot more he could have done, sure. But Antony in the pre-season, a little bit wasteful again. He won't get as much leeway from United fans this season as he did last season. He's got to improve that final product. And especially because of the players that we've got in and around. Like, obviously, Ahmad went off with an injury, but I think hopefully he will stay in the squad and be competition for Antony on that right-hand side. Pellistri, you could start him. Don't think he'll be starting him. I feel pretty confident about that team, actually. I might be wrong about Mainoo, right? Erik Ten Hag might decide, no, this actually, I want to get Casemiro a little bit fitter. I want him to use the minutes here. It depends whether the fitness of Casemiro or the learning, I suppose, wrong way to describe it, but you know what I mean. Seeing Mainoo in that situation, I think, is invaluable to Ten Hag. Can he do it for us next season in the chat? This is a good tester. So that would be my team. But obviously, the big difference here is Onana. I want to watch this higher line. I want to see how Manchester United play out from the back, right? I want to see this defensive line here go up. I want to see that. I want to see Onana holding a position towards the edge of his own box. I want to see Onana sort of standing in his own little semicircle. And therefore, United having the ability to play further up the pitch, closer to goal. Everything just a little bit closer to Real Madrid's goal. That's what I want to see, and that's why I'm excited to see Andre Onana. It's not going to work straight away. There will be teething problems. And look, my prediction for the game is extremely hard to predict this one. I'm going to go for a 1-1. Go for a 1-1. Why not? What's your prediction? You let me know in the comments below. But that's what I would say for the Real Madrid game. The things I'm most looking forward to are hopefully Mainoo in midfield, Onana's debut, and also I'm interested to see if Sancho can continue that as a false nine. They're probably the three biggest storylines there. But let's move on to the second game. The second team in the space of 24 hours, Wrexham. Right, this is what Ten Hag said about the team that's going over there. He said, look, we've been planning this for a long time. One team will stay behind. I'll stay here as well. We'll bring a coach. Under 21s, it's going to be Travis Binion, right? Now, Travis Binion, this is the thing I would say look out for most in this game against Wrexham. Travis Binion was Manchester United's manager when we won the FA Youth Cup last year. He's now our under 21s manager. Ten Hag has taken control of the under 21s, but not in the day-to-day running of it. He wants, I think he's written it down here. Let me see if I can find that line. There you go. Of course, under 21s is always a part of the first squad. It's always under my supervision. I don't want to have a red line in our club. That means we want to have the principles and the rules. It has to go down to the bottom. How we want to play. We want to educate, to teach players in the United way so it's easier to flow into the first team. That's the main thing I'm looking out for here against Wrexham. Will this team, which is now being coached on the pitch by Travis Binion, play like an Erik Ten Hag team? Will we play out from the back with the same? Will we have the same build-up play? Will we have the same formation in possession when we're going forward? They're the things I would say to watch out for, mainly for this game. This is the squad that's travelling out there. You see Eli Harrison, you've got Nathan Bishop, Gerardo, Aldefree, Fish, Johnny Evans, of course, Cambuala. I'm looking forward to seeing him. Collier, Aaron, Oyedele, McNeil, Mejia, Hugo, and Shoretire. I think these youngsters will also join in from the first team because it's going to be a little bit of a blend. I've gone for Vitek, Fernandez, Dangor, Hannibal, and Forson, which gives you a 20-man squad to choose your team from. As I said, what bumper video. You're getting not one start 11, you're getting two start 11s and two predictions. What more could you want? I think maybe we'll see Radek Vitek and guy, or maybe you see Nathan Bishop, although Bishop is getting lined up for a loan move away. So maybe it'll be Harrison. Sod knows. But one thing I think we will see. Have I not got him there? Forgot to put him in. Sorry, Johnny. Is this, and I'm actually really quite looking forward to seeing this. Johnny Evans and Cambuala. Now, Cambuala is Really, really highly rated. He's 18. I think we signed him from Sochaux in France a couple of years ago, but he's had some real big injury problems. He got past those last year and he really shone. He is one to watch, and a perfect player to play him alongside is Johnny Evans. Really a perfect player. I think you might see Fernandez coming from the first team squad, playing at left back, and Gerardo, and that's actually quite that's a pretty cool back five. I think so anyway. I would like to see that. You can let me know what you think about that in the comments below. But for me, Cambuala would be the one to watch there, and whether or not Johnny Evans has still got it. I think it was quite good when he came on against Leon, wasn't he? Now, midfield, I don't really know the shape to use in this midfield. I'll be honest, because I think this is kind of a bit wrong. But I'm going to go for Gore, Hannibal, and Hansen, Aaron. Gore, second half against Leon. Just signed a new deal. He impressed. And I'm looking forward to watching him again. He's definitely one to watch. All the eyes are on Kobbie Mainoo. I think people will be talking about Dan Gore quite soon as well. And Hansen Aaron, he looked good in both of those games. So I would definitely give him a definite starting spot. And it depends whether Hannibal goes out there or not. I'm not quite sure. Now, up front, I think you'll see Hugill through the middle. I think you'll see Forson on the left-hand side. And then the right-hand side, I'll be honest, I've got absolutely no idea. This one, I'm kind of just filling the position. You can let me know what you think about that in the comments below. But the main talking points and the main focus points, I would say, in this game are watch Cambuala's performance if he starts. Watch Dan Gore. See if Hansen Aaron can continue in the same sort of form he's in. And Hugo, it's always interesting to watch a striker. And also, will United play like a Ten Hag team? That's the main thing to watch. So that there is bumper. That's my starting 11 for the Real Madrid game. Onana in goal, Varane, Martinez, Shaw and Delo. Mainoo, Mount and Bruno in midfield, and a front three of Rashford, Sancho and Anthony. And I think that's going to be a 1-1 draw. This game here against Wrexham, I'm gone for Vitek in goal with Evans and Cambuala as centre-backs, Fernandez and Gerardo. A midfield trio of Gore, Hannibal and Hansen Aaron, which would be pretty exciting. And a front three of Hugill, Forson and Shoretire. Whew. What's the prediction for that one? 3-2. I reckon it'll be a fun game. Wrexham will be bang up for it. But we should just be a little bit better. Let's find out. We are playing the youth team though. But big day, big bumper day, big week ahead. I'm up at 3 o'clock tonight. I'm up at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Can't complain though, because that's what international Reds do. Fair play, look. If you do that all around the world, every single week for United, I doff my hat. But yeah, that's my predicted 11 for both games. You can let me know what you think.